Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for staying glued to us right here on Breakfast Central, where the show continues. But now it's time for us to discuss the business of money, specifically with an angle towards mobile banking. Now, life in the 21st century is unarguably much more dependent on technology, so much so that it's difficult to remember what life was like before it. Now, every single little thing is at our fingertips, and tech companies are outdoing themselves to innovate faster than we can even assimilate. Every aspect of life is affected and infected by one question: how can life be simpler? So you look at today, and you know that gone are the days when you had to wait in long queues to get a check cashed, and these days you don't even need to rely on the internet per se to get your banking transactions processed, and you can even open a bank account with a simple shortcode message. So one has to wonder, what is next? But in the meantime, it's time for us to talk to people who are part of this revolution in Nigeria. I'm excited to be joined by Ladi Ogunseye, who is a marketing manager of Pompey app, and he's here to shed a bit more light on the simplicity of mobile banking. So, morning. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you. So, first of all, let's talk about Pompey. What exactly is Pompey?
So, Pompey is a consumer payment app. We do mobile money. We do all forms of payment, from airtime to bill payments to money transfer, other financial services.
Okay.
So for every Nigerian, basically.
So how is it different to my using the app created by my bank?
One key difference between your banking app and Pompey is that for us at Pompey, we believe in rewarding consumers. We believe in rewarding users. So if you use Pompey, you get a reward for using Pompey. If you use a mobile banking app, you do not get anything.
Okay, so what do you mean when you say reward?
For example,
because I'm already thinking cash money.
Exactly, it's called cashback actually. So you get cashback. For airtime, you get 10% cashback.
Okay.
So if you buy, let's say, 10,000 naira airtime, you get 10% of that back into your wallet.
Okay.
That can also use to even perform another transaction the next time you're performing the transaction. So.
Okay, that's incredibly interesting. And what has the response been, in Nigeria? Because we know where mobile banking and mobile money is concerned on the rest of the continent. So many strides have been made. You look at M-Pesa in Kenya, look at EcoCash in Zimbabwe. How is Nigeria responding to an app like Pompey, with especially a lot of the nuances that the Nigerian market has with regards to, especially, trusting financial transactions that happen online?
Yeah, I think for me, from a personal point of view, Nigerians are quite receptive. Gone are the days where people were quite skeptical about e-money. People are now more receptive. I remember a time just a few weeks ago at my barber shop, my barber shop was actually quite receptive of accepting money via a mobile phone. So for me, I think Nigeria is catching up with the trend across Africa, because mobile money is very, very key in Africa. And we've seen it go in Kenya, we've seen it go in Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and other countries, and I think Nigeria is catching up.
And what's the actual difference between mobile banking and mobile money? Because Pompey is mobile money, isn't it? So what's the difference?
I think for mobile money and mobile banking is quite similar. There's just a gray line, which is that for mobile money, you perform all your transactions without a bank account. Okay. What you get is a mobile wallet, where you put fund and then you carry out transactions. For mobile banking, you need to have a bank account. So they are both done from mobile phones. They are both done from a mobile phone, done from the comfort of anywhere you are. But then for mobile banking, you need to have a bank account. You need to have had a bank account with your bank. And for mobile money, you can connect it with any bank account. So it's more flexible than a mobile banking app.
Okay, so it's based on your cell phone number.
Exactly.
Okay, and so what are some of the bottlenecks of this? Because I know we've all experienced the frustration, especially with our mobile banking apps, when you're at a very critical moment, you need to make that payment and it's offline, you can't log in, network failure, something is going on. So what are some of the bottlenecks, especially in this market, that you've encountered, and maybe some of the solutions as well that you've been able to provide?
I think one key thing is data infrastructure. For the Nigerian market, we find that there's not a strong network in terms of internet across board. So, and then before you can use a mobile banking app, you need to have internet. So that's one challenge a lot of people have. You find that the network is breaking, and then for the market, officially the failure rate is at 10%. But then other countries have much more lower failure rates than that. So in terms of this is in terms of transaction failure rate. So I think that one key thing that people face a lot when using mobile banking is failure rate. and then network. So
wow, 10% is high though.
It's very high, but then the thing is, which is why I'm saying that other countries have lower rates than that. So it's one challenge here basically. And then for in terms of bottleneck going to the bank, people don't want to go to the bank anymore. You find long queues everywhere. You find that you go to the bank hall and then you have to queue for at least 1 hour before you get attended to. You need to fill a lot of forms, do a lot of documentation and other things like that. Nobody wants to do that. So I think it's one thing that mobile banking brings. You can do anything. Basic financial transactions, carry them out from your mobile phone, even a mobile money wallet.
And there's of course a lot of conversation as we kind of count down the days to Nigeria's target to to being one of the top 20 cashless economies in the world. And where do you see this? Do you foresee, I believe the deadline is 31st of March or so, how far are we? How far do we have to go? Because it's one thing for us, especially when you look at the internet penetration numbers and you realize that when we speak of tech, we're speaking of a very tiny percentage of the entire country. What is the likelihood that we'll be able to go relatively cashless, maybe top 20 in the world? And also, what is the plan for those who don't have access to internet?
I think that in terms of going cashless for Nigeria, we can do it. It's doable, very doable. But one challenge we would definitely have is about the internet infrastructure. The internet infrastructure here is quite low. You find that people still do a lot of 10 MB, 20 MB in terms of data subscriptions, and then people still are careful of putting on their data service across the day. So these kind of basic challenges are challenges that are existent in our economy, which is one major key challenge as we are to get into the cashless economy. But where the interesting thing is, where the twist is that USSD is there. USSD is an infrastructure that people are taking advantage of. So you can easily go to a merchant store, maybe your barber or your hairdresser or your nail polish maker or something, and then pay using USSD. Okay,
so that's available as well.
Yeah, so USSD is available. So people can make use of these services across board. So I think that cashless would be a dream come true sometime, but I don't see us making that this year possible.
Okay, well, not this year anyway. But talking about sort of going cashless, and I know that especially that policy is the one that birthed a lot of new businesses, as people needed to provide solutions to support the directive from the Central Bank of Nigeria. So that's made fintech a very sexy industry in Nigeria. A lot of players. But how has Pompey been able to? I understand you were able to raise about $40 million in a capital raise recently. What is it that has set you apart from all the other, because lately there are quite a number of financial tech businesses available in Nigeria services?
I think for us at Pompey, having raised $40 million recently from the makers of techno mobile phones, one thing that sets us apart is that we believe that people use smartphones in Nigeria, people use mobile phones in Nigeria, and then if people use mobile phones in Nigeria, we want to help them take advantage of this mobile phone usage. So it's not just enough to have a smartphone, it's not enough to have a mobile phone. It's more than enough to make use of this smartphone to do carry out your financial transactions. And for us, the dream is we're building a financial warehouse where you can access financial services that are not even owned by us. So it's an ecosystem. You can plug in, you as a fintech provider, you can plug in into our ecosystem, and then our users can access your service on our ecosystem. So for us, it's more about building a warehouse where everybody can access services and people can make it as comfortable as possible and easy to use. Easy to use is something that we preach every day. Okay, so the strategy is to become more of a B2B? Not a B2B per se. It's not a B2B, it's a B2C business. We serve consumers because consumers are the ones who use smartphones. But then consumers can access not just our own services, other services as well on our platform. And what are some of the implications of, getting that level of investment from the owners of Techno? Are there any potential partnerships, any, you never know, because Techno has done incredibly well with their Boomplay app in the music, in the streaming market. So I'm already looking at this and I'm saying, is there some brand cohesion that's coming, or is it just that it's the makers and you're drawing the line? I think there's some brand cohesion coming, and for us, it's interesting because for this year's our year of strategic partnerships. We are doing a lot of strategic partnerships with a lot of partners in the market. Currently, one of our strategic partners is Visa. We're partnering with Visa as well to create virtual cards for our consumers, virtual USD cards and Naira cards as well for our consumers, so they can make payments online at online merchant stores. And we have a whole lot of, I won't want to mention some of them yet, but we have a whole lot of partnerships that I'll be launching in this year, and then definitely is actually opened us up to a whole lot of the public glare. People are watching out for us now, and then we know this. So it's making us develop our product better, make our product use more efficient, make our transactions be more reliable, and other things like that.
Okay, so I love the fact that, especially when we're talking about mobile money, so it's no longer just about having, like you said, having the wallet where you're able to only just make payments, or buy airtime. There's so many other services that are
so
now...
many other financial services. So financial services can be insurance, can be pensions, can be buying tickets to events, buying tickets to movies. So currently, we even now have cinema tickets on our platform. So it's provided by another partner. So these are services that people can access from their mobile phone. So it's for us we pride ourselves as the financial warehouse for Africa.
For Africa. Very nice and very exciting to see this developing and growing, especially, as you start to roll out some of your plans concerning the capital raise. But, ultimately, I think the bottom line at the end of the day is... What is the security? What are the security threats on a very real, on a very real level? Because that is still of massive concern to this market. I know earlier you did mention that people are no longer skeptical anymore. But on the flip side of it, what do the actual, security risks look like, and what are the measures you are taking to ensure that people's data, because it's not just about money, it's people's information, data, and so forth.
Correct. I think for data, which we are keen on. We are compliant with the GDPR. It's a global data protection policy. Also, Nigeria has a national policy on data protection right now, which we are also compliant on. So for us, we are keen on data protection. We pride ourselves in that, protecting people's data, and because the fintech industry is a very regulated industry, so security is something that no fintech player plays with. But still, we advise consumers generally to be safe. Protect yourself from phishing scams, other little scams that can expose your password, expose your PIN. One interesting thing that we do is that you can actually pay with your PIN. You can pay with a PIN, you can pay with your fingerprint, or even a Face ID if it's configured on your smartphone. So for us, we keep developing security measures that will prevent hackers from getting into your product. So for example, one very simple thing is that nobody can access your account. Even if you misplace your smartphone today, nobody can access your account except you. So you need to place a call to a customer care center, and then they verify that you're the one who owns the account based on your details before you can access.
Well, that's if they don't have your PIN. If they don't have your PIN,
they don't have your PIN, definitely. Nobody can have your PIN, exactly.
Oh, okay. Well,
unless you make it just open, or
unless you share it. Okay. And security in a longer term perspective, in terms of we have seen a number of financial services providers, both digital and offline as well, that have emerged and have created for a period, provided incredible services, and then sort of just up and disappeared. In the middle of one starry night, you woke up the next day and you realize that your money was gone and the business is gone. What are the assurances that this is a service that's here to stay, that this is a business and an organization that's here to stay? I
think for us, like I mentioned earlier, one of our key strategic partners, one of our key investors is Technomobile. And if you know Technomobile is a brand that has been here for over 11 years. So for us, I don't think that anyone who will see us as sister companies or sister partners to Technomobile would think that we are here for the short term. We are here for the long term, really. We are here to stay. And then we'll keep evolving, we'll keep developing. So one thing I would always say is that people should keep their mind to rest, because we are not here to disappear. Definitely, we are here to stay. We are here for the long game.
And do banks see you as competition?
I think the fintech bank competition is real.
Okay, that's a very real thing.
It's a real competition because banks definitely feel like, oh, fintechs are smaller companies. It's easier for them to evolve as compared to the banks. So I think the banks see the fintechs generally, not just us, the fintechs as competition. And thus, definitely, the banks will always be playing against the fintechs. We will see them making changes to their business models to compete with the fintech. Before now, the banks never used to go for the chunk, rather for the mid-size.
They were not looking for the youth market.
Exactly.
They weren't holding fashion events and concerts to try and attract young people.
Trying to appeal to the young people. So I think that the banks do see fintech companies as a major competitor, really.
And how do you respond to that?
For us, we are a financial technology company, so we are a team of young, strategic, thinking, upwardly mobile people. We keep thinking, we keep innovating.
Go on, tell you about
ideas. We keep being productive. Keep being the best at what we do. So for us, I think
it's about continuing to disrupt, right?
Yeah, we're here to disrupt, basically. So it's about winning for us. We want to win the market, so...
You know what, and I have every belief that you're already winning, but I'm pretty sure there's more wins coming for you.
Much more wins. Watch out for us in 2020.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Ladi, thank you so much for this. It's been an incredible conversation. I feel certainly a lot more enlightened about mobile money in Nigeria and about Pompey as well. And maybe just a little bit tempted to download the app.
You should. Right? You just experience it. First one, I'll
give it a try.
Yeah,
okay, fine. I can't knock it until I try it. No problem. Ladi Ogunseye of Pompey app, thank you so much for your time today. To watch more videos just like this, make sure you subscribe right here. And of course, check out more videos right here.